Tas, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are building the Southern Water Temple, or the Southern Water Tribe, from Avatar the Last Airbender. This is probably my favorite TV show that ever ran on Nickelodeon ever, despite like all of the classic Nicktoons and all of them. I loved those, but I think that this one is the one that I have enjoyed most of all, just because it has a really big story. And the story, like, it's one of those shows that you can sit down and watch an individual episode and enjoy, but it does have an overarching story that is really interesting. And I have really enjoyed it as an adult more than I did as a child, because I obviously didn't fully understand all of the themes inside the story. And now that I've gotten older, I've actually gone through and watched the series twice, all the way through. Once by myself, and once when I met my boyfriend Nate, I kind of wanted to like introduce him to it. And I have started Legend of Korra. I haven't gone all the way through it. Believe it or not, I've actually watched more review videos about Legend of Korra than I have the actual like series. So far, I don't hate it. I think that I like it. It's definitely not Avatar the Last Airbender, but I think that a lot of people are being like really critical of it because that's not what they wanted. They wanted more sequels to Avatar the Last Airbender. If that's what you wanted, you were going to be sad from the beginning. You were never going to like it, is kind of my opinion so far, having only seen probably like 8 or so episodes. So I don't really know. I'm going to continue watching it, but so far so good as far as I'm concerned. I enjoy the characters and I enjoy the overarching story within that so far. And so we'll see how I feel about it in a little bit, but if you are an Avatar the Last Airbender fan, first of all, I have a create-a-sim on my channel, which I will try and link at the end of this video. It is of Katar, Aang, and Zuko, and they're definitely not identical to what they look like in the cartoon. It was really hard for me to find good custom content for them, but I did the best that I could, and I think that I kind of like the way that they came out. Also, if you're a fan of this show, stay tuned on my channel for the next week or so, because I'm going to be building a couple more locations from Avatar the Last Airbender. I definitely want to do the Southern Air Temple, which is Aang's Air Temple. I want to do something from Ba Sensei, and I also want to do something from the Fire Kingdom, probably like the Royal Empire, something like that or to that degree. And if it goes well, I may do other locations in the future, like possibly the Northern Air Temple and the Northern Water Tribe, and different things that were important throughout the show. I think that that would be really fun to do, and I have lots of ideas for this series. I've been waiting for a long time to do this series because I actually came up with the idea to do the Southern Water Tribe way back. Like, I'm talking probably a couple of months ago now. And the day that I sat down to film this video, we got the news that we were going to be getting seasons. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to wait, because I knew that this pack was going to come with a bunch of stuff that was going to be super helpful for me for seasons. And that's definitely the case. And I also really like the idea of not having to use a mod. This whole build is done without any custom content, and that's what I originally wanted to do from the beginning. I've really been leaning towards doing builds without custom content, not in create-a-sim. I'm always going to use custom content in create-a-sim, but I've really been enjoying the challenge of not doing any custom content when I do like a house build or a replica build or anything like that. So I knew that that's what I wanted to do, but the only way I was going to be able to film in the snow originally was to download a mod. I think it was called the First Snow mod or something like that, and it was going to work, but it was obviously going to include a mod, and it wasn't going to look awesome on the gallery. It was just going to look like a bunch of green hills or a bunch of roofing all over the place. So I'm really happy that seasons came out, and I waited because I really do think that it helped take it to the next level. And this is already available on the gallery for download under my origin ID, theallegedsimmer. Once again, there is no custom content, and it's under the Southern Water Tribe, but it's easiest to find me on the gallery by just searching me by name. And make sure you don't put any spaces in there, because you're not going to find me, and I think that's the #1 reason why people have a hard time finding me whenever I get a message or a comment that says I can't find any of your stuff on the gallery. It's probably because you're either not searching by ID or you're putting spaces in between my name, and either way is not going to bring anything up. So, you guys, this is like literally my favorite show. Not probably of all time, although if somebody was to ask me really quickly, what's your favorite TV show? Depending on who the person was, I might say this show, but I'm also like a huge Sailor Moon fan, and everybody knows that. It's definitely my favorite Nicktoon, and I'm dying for pop figures to come out for this collection. I'm hoping that they get it done sooner rather than later. Funko posted on Twitter not too long ago. which Nicktoon would you like to see made into pop figures? And the choices were Fairly Odd Parents, Danny Phantom, Avatar, and something else that I can't remember. And honestly, I would purchase like any of them, but Avatar for sure is the one that I like would die to have. And if they do finally release a collection, I will probably buy all of them. Katara is definitely my favorite character, which is why I wanted to start with the Southern Water Tribe. And Sokka, I'm not gonna lie, he really bothered me at first. I could have probably done without him for a while. I think that the story in the beginning would have just been interesting with just Aang and Katara, but as it progressed, I really did enjoy him as a character. And even Toph in the beginning, I really did not like Toph. I thought that she was like a completely unnecessary part of the story. And then you get further into the story and she trains Aang, and you really find out that she kind of is like the best earthbender in the entire world. And so she really plays a huge part, and her as a character, she stopped annoying me too. And I really did like learn to love all of them and the four of them together as a group. And I think it has a beautiful story. I think that there's lots of like incredible messages in the story about prejudice. And one of my favorite story arcs in the whole thing is when Katara goes to the Northern Water Tribe, and when they finally get there, and I know that a lot of people who are fans of the show actually hate this episode and hate this little mini arc, but I kind of enjoyed it. And she gets to the Northern Water Tribe thinking that she's going to finally get trained by a master, because she is the only waterbender in the Southern Water Tribe, so she's never been like formally taught. And when she gets there, she finds out that they are still kind of a little bit more traditional, and women aren't allowed to learn waterbending. And she kind of fights her way to the top and forces the master to train her. And I think she's one of the very first like women, if not the first woman, to ever be trained by a master in the Northern Water Tribe. And I really enjoyed that storyline. I love the romance storyline between Aang and Katara. I think it's subtle, and that's good because obviously their age is a little bit weird to kind of explore a romance with, but they're just old enough where it makes sense. And I like that they didn't stray away from that, because I feel like sometimes with cartoons, they don't want to get too heavy into any kind of a romance because they think that it's going to scare younger audiences away. And I really enjoyed that part of the storyline. I think that if it wasn't there, it would probably feel like it was lacking something for me. But that's what's great about this show, is that there's something in it for everybody. There's a romance storyline, there's a war storyline, there's an ethics storyline, there's a character for everybody to relate to. I really relate to Katara. I know a lot of people love Azula, and I tried to make her in Create a Sim once and it didn't go well. I'm hoping that at some point I will get some good custom content to be able to do that. And I love Zuko. I originally, of course, like, he's the villain. Everybody kind of hates his character, but he really grew on me to the point where I'm infatuated with him. And going through and rewatching the story, he has become one of my favorite characters, more so than like even Aang sometimes. But I really do enjoy Aang as a character too. I think that all of the characters are like just super well developed, and every episode serves a purpose, and that's so rare in like a cartoon that's aimed at children. And that's why I enjoyed this series so freaking much. And if you've never seen it, give it a try. I really think that you'll like it, especially if it was something that you skipped as a child because you just weren't interested or it didn't really make sense to you. Try it again. I think it's on Hulu, but I do feel like they also upload all of the episodes to Nick. And, you know, worst comes to worst, there's definitely other ways. I think I purchased the whole thing on DVD. They sell like the entire season in one go for like $30 at Walmart. So I'm going to get through Legend of Korra. I'll probably give you guys an update on what I think of that entire series. And you guys should let me know what you think of this Southern Water Tribe and if it looks like the one originally in the show, the way that you remember it. I went from pictures, so I hope that you guys think that. And again, this will be available for download on the gallery under my origin ID, The Alleged Simmer, all one word. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that little bell icon below to turn on post notifications so you can get updated every single time that I post, and I will talk to you all in the next one.